Hi everyone, I am Mary with Mary Greeley News. Thank you for joining me. Here's today's update, February 5th, 2020. What's going on at Yellowstone National Park with earthquakes, uplift, and the movement of the magma. Lava is called magma when it's still under the ground. Here we can see a still image captured from the static cam there at Old Faithful. And we have a buffalo by the boardwalk. This is what it was showing yesterday. And up at the top you can see the time. And we starts out, about 7 a.m., whatever. The steam that came up once again from Old Faithful got a little dirty, bright and sunny. You can see the shadows on the ground. But you can still see how the steam coming up got dirty. And that's because of the rock that is melted from the heat coming up from the magma chamber, melting that rock, and it rises up with the steam. I have not counted how many eruptions. There goes the buffalo that went by there. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that or not. Anyways, let me show you what it looks like today. Oh, I was going to say, I didn't count how many eruptions happened there at Old Faithful yesterday. Here is a live web view of their live camera. Yeah, the camera keeps stopping and going, stopping and going. Here we have Old Faithful. It looks like there's one person down here. Let me pull it. Nope, that was a tree, sorry. Over here we have the cabins that people can rent. And then one of the buildings there at Old Faithful. You know, all these buildings were built on the geothermal area that feeds into Old Faithful. They did not know that until about 3 years ago when they did a bunch of tests. And yeah, this is the area. Let me show you where the hydrothermal waters flow underground and come up there at Old Faithful and the different geysers. They did not know they were building on top of this hydrothermal flow. Let me bring it down a little bit so you can see how far it is. Yeah, 0 meters, all the way over to Firehole River, which is between 600 and 700 meters. And we can see the Firehole River sometimes when they move the camera on the live webcam. The only earthquake so far today they are reporting, they being USGS, is a 2.5 by the Sawtooth Mountains, Stanley, Idaho, and a 3.5. That was today. 2 people did say they felt that earthquake. Here you can see it says Sawtooth Range, and the area is near Archie Mountain, Miller Mountain. Using Google Earth, this red line that I drew out is the Sawtooth Fault Zone, which is moving from east to west, and this green dot here is that location, or the green pin is the location of that earthquake. It is a very remote location. I did find an airfield close to where that report came from, trying to see if there's housing or whatever, but 2 people did say they felt that earthquake. I don't see any houses. Let me bring this out for you. The hand is where the earthquake was reported, and this is where it actually happened, up over here. Here's the location of that 2.5, and I'll bring it out so you can see where that other one occurred. Right there. Oh, okay. We'll go back in. Right there. Alright, so I'll go from there to the 2.5. Pretty close to the same location. Alright. So there's the 3.5 that happened today, and the 2.5. On the monitor for Norris Junction and Little Thumb and Yellowstone Lake, there's that 3.5 earthquake, and I'll extract it for you so you can see it, and we'll make it larger. 97 earthquakes on this map, going all the way up to Helena, Montana, and then down south by Twin Falls, and then we got the Grand Teton. But the reason I'm showing you that they only have 3 listed for today is because of this earthquake here, which occurred about 56 minutes after midnight. It's on all 3 monitors. You can see here at Norris Junction, Little Thumb, and Yellowstone Lake. The largest one looks like Norris Junction. They are not reporting that earthquake, and it's got a very small P wave on it. The P wave is the first wave of the earthquake because it goes directly through the earth. The S wave goes around the outside edge of the earth, and I'll make it larger. And let's change the horizontal and vertical view of it. There you go. Later we got another small earthquake that occurred at Little Thumb and Yellowstone Lake. Looks like it's larger at Yellowstone Lake. 958 maybe. Let's extract that. Yeah, it's a small earthquake, but it did show up on 2 monitors. And it's got a P wave on that one. And let's extract that one. There you go. Let's change the vertical on it. But that one's not being reported. Then we got this one. Shows up at Yellowstone Lake and Norris Junction. Let's pull it from Yellowstone Lake. Alright. Another small earthquake. At least it looks like it's small. And that too has a P wave on it. And we'll change the vertical. There you go. These are actual earthquakes. These are not tectonic movement earthquakes. The spectrogram from the strain meter, which is not working, but we do have the spectrogram from yesterday for the Norris Geyser Basin. This is a borehole 950. This is the activity it showed yesterday. The strain meter might not be working, but the tilt is working there at that same borehole 950. And like I said, they're measuring what direction the magma is flowing under the ground. And this is the earthquakes for the last 7 days. This Y and X is measuring the direction that the magma flows under the ground, which is currently mostly uplift, but the ground's uplifting, but the magma's flowing east. And then the last 30 days, there we go. The strain meter for the monitor for Yellowstone Lake, this comes from borehole 208. The light blue would be channel 3. So that shows that there is uplift in the southwest location. Remember how I told you that side of the lake is going up, the east side is going down and flooding out. And the spectrogram from yesterday for Yellowstone Lake. And you can see how the line of melt is fairly high. And we got times where it heated up. We got hot water and gases that came up. And this is the time. And it goes by universal time, I'm pretty sure. This is the tilt meter from the same borehole, 208. And these are all the earthquakes. Look how it jumped all of a sudden. Going northwest, the uplift, and all the earthquakes. The darker the color means more recent the earthquakes. And this is for the last 7 days. And then the last 30 days. And they're measuring the direction, the flow under the ground. Now see, we got Y, which is east. And we got a dot way over here. Unusual. Let me go back to 7 days. There you go. Yeah, it shows a completely different movement in the last 7 days compared to a month ago. Borehole for Grant, which is on the southwest side of Yellowstone Lake. I don't have a strain meter that's working for that one. This is the last 7 days. Look how the ground took a breath. Yeah, around the 1st and the 2nd. And the magma is flowing east under the ground, but we have uplift in the west. Remember, the west side of Yellowstone Lake is rising up. The east side is dropping, so it's flooding out. So each dot would be an earthquake for the last 7 days, and then going back to the last 30 days. And I've talked about Grant, how Grant is an area where the magma has been trying to come up, and it's off the disk. Look at that. Last 30 days. The tilt meter for the Madison River area for the last 7 days. And basically, slightly west, mostly north. But magma is flowing under the ground going east. You know, as the United States slowly moves, the continent moves, going southwest. Well, it makes sense. That hot spot, the magma, is flowing east. But because the area has a cap of rhyolite, it doesn't break through. So it's only got one way to go, and that's horizontal. The crust of the earth at Grant is thinner, and so the magma has been trying to come up in that area. And about 3 years ago, there was a series of earthquake swarms because of that. This chart here is from the last 30 days, showing, as the ground breathes and rise up there at Grant. And this one here is for the disk, which shows you east for Y, and X would be north. The ground itself, if you're looking at the ground at the horizon, the uplift would be northwest there at Grant. The tilt meter for Norris Junction. Okay, and we got, rising up it looks like. And it's rising in the, in the west, if you looked at the ground. And the flow of magma straight across northeast. This just shows you all the earthquakes within the last 7 days, and we'll come down to the last 30 days. There you go. Now this is set at 5 microradians. I do have a strain meter for the Madison River borehole 207. Again, this is the tilt meter for borehole 207. And we did have uplift on channel 2, but now it's going down. This is from yesterday, February 4th. And let's pull this down here. I want to see if they got the spectrogram. There we go. The spectrogram from yesterday. And we got several lines of melt. We got the main one, which is really hot. See how red that is? And 2 more above it. Now this chart goes all the way back to 2008. And you can see channel 2 has been steadily rising. Channel 2 would be in the east. Alright, here is the earthquake monitors that I pulled from this morning. You can see here at borehole 208 on the left, which is Yellowstone Lake, we got several in red. This point here, that is that 3.5 that occurred there at the Sawtooth mountain ranges. So let's start with the first one, I suppose. Right there, and we'll look at the spectrogram. And then we'll go to the second one. Yeah, that brought up more heat. 926 it says. The one in the center is West Thumb, and this one here on the right is Norris Geyser Basin. We'll go to the one above it in red. Just after midnight, I showed you that earthquake that they are not reporting. And that is Norris. This here is West Thumb. And this one here is Yellowstone Lake. Yeah. I would say somewhere close to the Norris Geyser Basin this earthquake occurred. And look at the heat that it brought up. Alright, so we got, what, a couple here. And let's see if I can find it there. Alright, Yellowstone Lake, West Thumb, and the Norris Geyser Basin. I want to pull this over a little bit more. There we go. Looks like we got actually 3 earthquakes there. And then at 12:30 Universal Time, yeah, another one not being, well, I showed you that on the other monitor, not being reported. This was yesterday. Yeah, Norris Geyser Basin, West Thumb, and Yellowstone Lake, and it is in red also. Alright, let me close this out for you. Right there, that's the one I am showing you. Alright, let's look at its signature. Right there, yeah, it's got a P wave on it. The one for Norris Geyser Basin has a P wave. West Thumb, let's take a look at, no, well, yeah, it does, excuse me, it does. Yeah, it's got a P wave on it. And we'll go back to the spectrogram. And this is what it was showing when I pulled the files this morning. We got another small earthquake right there. Okay, let's look at the spectrogram. Now this here is that river that was close to Old Faithful that it showed on the diagram because of the buildings that were built on the hydrothermal. Yeah, anyways, they're looking at the back basin here. Yeah, stopping and going, the camera does. So that's all I have for you right now. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions, yeah, they still don't report all those earthquakes, do they? Please put them down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, you can hit that little icon on the picture down there at the bottom and subscribe. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.